Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a caramel from scratch. You can actually make homemade caramel in 3 minutes or less. Not that it's a race or anything, but you'll see a lot of people teaching you how to make caramel using sugar and water, but I actually think that it's much slower and there's the risk of it crystallizing. So I tend to make caramels with just sugar, no water at all. So the first thing I do is I turn the heat on high. I'm going to add the sugar, and I'm using an unbleached bulk sugar I got at the hippie co-op. We don't need to do anything at this stage. You need to start paying attention when it starts to melt and turn into liquid. But just to get you ready for what's going to happen here, if this is the first time you're making caramel, a couple warnings. Sugar burns are among the worst kind of burns you can get. So I recommend, if you've never done this before, you're new to it, to have a bowl of ice water next to the stove. In fact, if you make it big enough, if the caramel started to burn, you could also lift the pot and put it into the bowl of ice water and keep it from burning. So that's nice to know that. But more importantly, keep your hands from burning. Also, you don't want to make caramel in a pot that's really low, because once you add the cream and the butter, there's a chance the caramel could go up and over the sides. So make sure you're using a pretty steep pot. First, when you see it start to melt, you want to move from the outside towards the inside, because the outside is going to get some extra heat from the conduction off the sides of the pan. So I just saw it start to melt out at the side a little bit, so I'm going to stir from the outside into the middle. And you also want to have all your ingredients ready when you make caramel. So I have some cream ready here, and I have some butter, and I'm going to make a salted caramel, so I'm going to add some salt as well. If at any point, if it's going too fast for you, just go ahead and turn the heat down, and you can slow down the process. And you're always going to have some caramel stuck to your spoon, and just don't worry about it. When you're done making caramel, the best thing to do is put hot water into the pot and on your spoon, and come back an hour or two later, and it'll be much easier to clean. Okay, so the sugar's starting to melt. We're going to be patient and wait for it to fully melt out. It's kind of cool right now because you can see it just sort of turn into a lava flow. When you know, the next step is we're gonna add our butter, and the way you know when to add the butter is 3 things. The first thing is you're gonna see a puff of smoke come up off the pan, and that's a sign that the caramel is getting to that caramelized place. Second thing, which you're not gonna be able to appreciate, is the smell, and it's gonna have that kind of toasty, nutty, almost a little edge of bitterness smell that caramel can get. And then the color is another way to really know when you're ready to add the butter. And the color, we want it to almost have a little bit of deep, dark red in the caramel. So keep stirring and get those little chunks melted out. I'm going to turn my heat down just a little bit. And I just got the first whiff of that telltale kind of caramel smell, but I haven't seen the puff of smoke happen yet. So we're not there yet. And the color isn't that deep, dark red. Okay, so we just got the puff of smoke. It's starting to smoke up right here. And the color is just turning that deep, dark red amber color that I'm looking for. And the smell is amazing. So this is the part where you want to reach over and grab your butter, and you want to stand back a little bit because the butter is going to sizzle up a little bit. You turn your heat to low. You want to stir the butter in. And this is where you shouldn't freak out at all, because when you add the cream, the next step, it's going to cool it down so quickly that it's going to probably seize up and get crystallized and hard. And see how it forms this like solid mass right here? A lot of people think that they've ruined the caramel at this stage, but all you have to do is just keep stirring. And it all just melts right back out again. I'm going to turn my heat probably off at this point and just let that residual heat melt the rest. And I'm going to add my salt. And a tiny bit more cream. And that's it. That's homemade caramel. So obviously it's too hot to eat right now, but let it cool for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll slice up an apple, and I'll feed my crew. They can dip the the apple slices into our caramel sauce. So we'll be right back. So the caramel's nice and cool and ready. I'm gonna cut up some apple and then feed my friends here. Come on, friends, come get some. Oops.
Ooh.
You can have some, Dave? Get in here.
Thank you.
You wouldn't like it.
Oh, we're filming. Thanks for watching my videos. My name's Becky Selengut. I really appreciate you hanging out here with me for a little while. Feel free to check out my website at www.beckyselengut.com or either of my cookbooks I've written, Good Fish and Shroom, and I'm working on a new one called How to Taste. And what else can I tell you? If you liked any of the silly dad humor or humor in any of my videos, feel free to check out my comedy podcast, Look Inside This Book Club, and take a look at all the other videos that I have on my channel. Thanks so much. Cheers.